Welcome back! Today we'll be picking apart the rest of the horrible arguments said to defend the abominable Rings of Power series. If you want to hear the first few arguments, click on this link. Anyway, let's get back to it, shall we? Where were we? Oh yes!
The Lord of the Rings fanbase is so toxic.
Oh my, the good old tried and true method of Hollywood these days. If your movie or TV show sucks and you start to get any backlash from it, blame the toxic fan base. There's this big, bad, evil, fire-breathing dragon of toxic fans that just looms over every single product that the helpless Hollywood executives have no power against, trolling every episode, hating on every writer and actor, stifling out any hope of success. If only the pearly alabaster directors and producers could defeat the toxic fan base, then none of this backlash would ever happen. You're a child. Guess who's been coming after you all this whole time, trying to tear your show down? You shouldn't be surprised to know that it wasn't random haters, it was fans. Lord of the Rings fans. People that have read every single scrap of Tolkien lore and have given it the proper respect. If the people that know the product you're trying to sell are the ones that are telling you messed up, you probably better listen to them. After all, they are the people that you are trying to sell to. I know you like to think that there's some underground Illuminati organization that secretly preys on new content and trolls new media, but sorry to burst your bubble. Every single piece of cinema gets backlash no matter what it is. There will always be people that don't like what you're dropping down, even when it's a masterpiece. But if that hate seems to be stronger than with other films, it's not because people are banding together to troll your product, it's because your product was shit. And people are verbal about that.
Well, no shit.
I'm a part of dozens of Lord of the Rings fan bases and Middle-earth groups, and the general consensus with all of them is that the Peter Jackson trilogy is gold, the Hobbit movies are meh, and the Rings of Power TV show is absolute trash. Yes, there are some toxic individuals in the world that do exist and tend to make a lot of noise and make bad decisions, but that does not consist of an entire fan base. When did this idea proliferate throughout all the world that if somebody disagrees with you on something that they are toxic? It's stupid and throws away any criticism that people have. It's the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. Oh, my show was bad? Well, you can't have an opinion because you're toxic. How absolutely ridiculous. It's also the worst business strategy if you want to continue selling your product. You didn't like it? Well, you're patently evil. Yes, he actually said that. Great, I definitely want to buy from that guy even though he hates everything about me. Yeah, I don't think so. Take a hard look in the mirror, writers, and realize that you are the problem. You made a product and we don't like it. It really is that simple.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Oh, you can go die in a hole with this one, my friends. Lord of the Rings fans have been fans for decades. We've come to love the characters in the world that Tolkien created. Most of us grew up getting to know Tolkien's world. So when a creator comes by and says that they want to use Tolkien's canvas to tell a story or make an adaptation of his work, you've already piqued our interest at that point. Who wouldn't want to watch characters that they've grown to love being portrayed on screen? For some, it's a dream come true. I know so many people that went into Rings of Power being optimistic about it because they figured any Middle-earth adaptation had potential. It was after watching it that they decided they hate it, and no one can blame them. The direction the show went, the representation of beloved characters, the disregard for the roots, all of it was abysmal. We want a change. Or better yet, we want you to stop messing around with what we love. Can you imagine someone jumping on the bandwagon and criticizing the people that made a Beloved's franchise as famous as it is when they disagree with the direction said franchise is going? That'd be like getting on a bus and making fun of the people that get angry when the bus driver deliberately takes them down the wrong route. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Okay, maybe I won't, but know that this is not the direction this bus was supposed to go. But if you want to stay here while it goes all the wrong places, then fine. It's your funeral. It's especially sad when the bus has taken us to glorious places, fun places, places we wanted to go, and is now intentionally crashing and burning itself. We've seen how amazing adaptations can be when they're done right. We want more of those. The backlash that you're getting is in response to your product that we want you to be successful and are giving you the tools to do it, but you're the one that's plowing it straight into a ditch. All you're doing is telling off 99% of your audience and calling us toxic. It's not gonna go in your direction, sorry.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
The original trilogy didn't follow the lore either, so Rings of Power shouldn't have to.
You know, there's a big difference between slightly differing and vehemently contradicting.
No way!
Yes, the Peter Jackson movies have their flaws. There was a lot that was taken out of the books that people think shouldn't have been. Stuff like Glorfindel saving Frodo instead of Arwen, no Prince Imrahil of Gondor, no Halbrand with the Dunedain Rangers and the Sons of Elrond, no Barrow-wights or Tom Bombadil or Scourging of the Shire, and so on. The baggage that comes with every single adaptation, unfortunately, is that no matter how hard a director and producer and studio try, it will never be able to perfectly adapt a book because books are so much doggone longer than any movie should ever be. Although the original trilogy came damn near close. There's a reason the original trilogy, while only being 3 movies, scrapes in at nearly 12 hours long. They were trying to include as much of the books as possible. Let me tell you, as someone who has read the books just recently and has since watched the movies, it completely astounds me at how much the Jackson trilogy gets right. Aside from a few lines here or there, basically all of the dialogue in the movie is straight out of Tolkien's books.
The old wisdom born out of the West was forsaken. Kings made tombs more splendid than the houses of the living, and counted the old names of their descent dearer than the names of their sons. Childless lords sat in aged halls, musing on heraldry, or in high cold towers asking questions of the stars. And so the people of Gondor fell into ruin. The line of kings failed. The white tree withered. The rule of Gondor was given over to lesser men.
Those without swords can still die upon them. I fear neither death nor pain.
What do you fear, my lady?
A cage. To stay behind bars until use and old age accept them. And all chance of valor has gone beyond recall or desire.
Where is the horn that was blowing? They have passed like rain on the mountains, like wind in the meadow. The days have gone down in the west, behind the hills, into shadow. How did it come to this?
The characters look exactly as Tolkien described them and have the exact same personality and mannerisms and nuances that each character brought. And the messages and the ideals that Tolkien strived to get across in his writing could not have been any better represented. The things that were left out were really just small details that did not impact the overall plot and narrative. Do I miss not being able to see Tom Bombadil? A little bit, yeah, but was him being omitted worth seeing Gandalf take on a fiery Balrog? Hell yeah!
Go back to the shadow.
Woo!
You shall not pass!
Ah, chills. Literal chills.
They are so good. It's like watching my childhood projected onto a screen. They are glorious. Of every single book to movie adaptation, I would argue that the Peter Jackson series is the most faithful. Again, yes, there are discrepancies that some of the biggest Tolkien purists can't forgive, but at least the changes that he made to the books didn't contradict the entire storyline and lore, the origins of the complexity and the motivations of each character, rendering rendering them as heartless copies with nothing in common except for name only. Rings of Power makes basically no effort to do anything that Tolkien wrote. It doesn't even feel like the same world. It feels like some boring fan fiction and not epic at all. Moments that were truly impactful in Tolkien's work had now been completely immortalized by Peter Jackson, and 20 years later, people are still gawking at it. Well, Rings of Power can't even be bothered to make the elves feel like elves. So no, Rings of Power showrunners, you didn't have to perfectly adapt Tolkien's work for the Tolkien lovers to love it. We're just asking that you even try just a little bit. But it looks like you were so obsessed with telling your own story that you forgot to include the most important part of your adaptation, the author.
Not a great plan.
You're a bunch of idiots and have no place among the giants in cinema. You will always be mediocre. Good luck getting a job after season 2 flops like season 1 did. Good night. Talk about this being the most cliche argument on the planet. Here's a cool trick that I've learned in all my years of movie watching. If someone says that they like something for the sole reason that the special effects were good, congratulations! You have now found a person that you never need to ask for the opinion of movies on ever again. Weed those people out. Weed them out of your life. They don't need to be there.
I got enough friends!
Of course people like good CGI and special effects, and with a TV show with this big of a freaking budget, it's downright the bare minimum to make sure it looks good. Any piece of cinema will look good if you dump enough money into it. As a result, some of the best CGI in the world belongs to the dumbest movies on the planet. The bar is so high now that nobody actually cares about special effects. It moves the goalpost from CGI and special effects to story and to focus on characters and narrative and plot. For Pete's sake, not a single person remembered the name of any of the characters from the first Avatar movie until Avatar 2 came around. People were blown away at the CGI James Cameron used. Did they care for the story at all? Not even a bit. Shows that don't look good on the screen will get 0 views, so you will be hard-pressed to find a single movie coming out in the past 10 years that has bad special effects. All of that being said, not even the Rings of Power has the best special effects. Yeah, there's a couple really beautiful shots that made me nod my head in approval, but then there were shots like this, and armor like this. It straight up looks like plastic. How did this show have 3 times the budget as the original trilogy, and somehow they can't be bothered to hire some actual blacksmiths to make real armor? Or at least real looking armor? The amount of work that went into the original Jackson films was legendary. Years of prep work and designing and executing. But that was not the reason those films are still loved today. So no, you shills, we have higher standards than good special effects. Story always takes precedence, and I'm afraid that this is the one place you didn't spend an ungodly amount of money.
I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, okay?
Well, it was really successful. Look how much money it made.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and believe all you want about how successful the Rings of Power is, even though it was basically already free to anyone that had an Amazon Prime account and was relying solely on merchandise and Amazon Prime subscriptions to make money. All I know is that before season 1 was released, Prime had greenlit 5 seasons, and after its release, they only greenlit 2. Yeah, they might just greenlight each season as they come out, but going from having a big thumbs up to waiting until each season has been released says a lot about what Amazon is thinking when it comes to blowing money into their next projects. Oh shit, maybe the first season was just a fluke. Let's include a bunch of battles in season 2 to make people like it. If that doesn't work, you can kiss season 3 goodbye. We can only hope. Now here's the thing, there is nothing on earth stopping you from loving the Rings of Power. You can love whatever you want. Nobody's stopping me from loving Velocipaster. And here's the other thing. The people that hate Rings of Power don't hate the people that love it. That's the media trying to divide us against each other and make us believe that we can't have a civil discourse on the media that we consume without spurting into violence. Many of us can understand that people liked different parts of the series, but people making excuses for why it sucked on different levels simply needs to stop. Like whatever you like, my friends, but don't get offended when I reserve my palate for epic cinema and not bland, superfluous garbage that craps all over everything that I already love. No, thank you. But I will find a way to destroy you in every possible method and find some sinister way to monetize the process. What? Anyways, please, if you think I am wrong, let me know. Unlike the showrunners of Rings of Power, I'm completely open to criticism. More vids coming out soon. Rings of Power gave me at least 3 or 4 years worth of content to take apart, and I'm not letting up even a little bit. Auf Wiedersehen!